I'm Mel Barrett.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie.
And welcome to Something's Off, where, I don't know, it's a true crime podcast where we try to get the lawyers' names right.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes, your brain's just like my brain. Shit happens.
Listen, I have got Karen Reed, Turtleboy, Brian Walshe, Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Those are just cases that are happening in Massachusetts, by the way.
Right.
All in my brain. Bettero's across a couple of them. Bradle's across a couple of them. And I want to apologize. Thank you for pointing it out to me. I appreciate that. But my brain went with Bettero. I knew it was Bradle, but it went with Bettero.
And then
I know.
People will live. They'll survive.
I wanted to say one more thing. Another comment was made. And this is one of those situations where I know what happened, but I said one word I said one wrong word. Okay. And that's when I was asking you about, this is a Kelsey Fitzsimmons case. When I was asking you, we saw what the judge said, and we saw, like in the hearing.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It was the hearing where they were talking about, it's the bond hearing, where her bond was revoked, and they were trying to get, the alternate alcohol testing device. And I said, we all saw what happened. It was only on audio. But I listened to, it's so stupid, but it's just like little things like that.
Saw is metaphorical. It's like, there's this writing tick that I don't love, but it's sometimes useful when you say, economy sees slowdown. Like the economy isn't seeing anything. The economy is not a person, but experiencing something can be, you can say see or saw for experiencing.
Listen,
I forgive you for that one.
I was fired up. And that's why I was just like, we saw what happened. We know what happened. That was the thing. I was like, we know what happened. We heard it with our own ears.
Can I have one thing that I want to respond to? Although I'm sure they won't see it.
Yes, but can we say one thing first? Rebecca is actually in DC, which is where I am, but we can't get together because she's super swamped. So that's why she's in a different background and might sound a little bit different. But you look like a queen in that chair. So
I'm so happy with this sweater choice in this chair. It's one of my favorite sweaters, but also
your hair looks good.
And there's like a good, like creamy, calming. I feel like I'm on like an HGTV show giving like the two-way where I talk about the design that I completed and how I did it. So the one thing I want to say is that tweeter, that dude who's like
that tweeter.
Cowboy Fan 105, where the fuck he is, you can go fuck yourself, Cowboy Fan 105.
Ooh, Cowboy Fan 105. You heard it here live.
It's just so gross. It's just like, I don't know if it's Cowboy Fan something. There's a lot of cowboy adjacent.
Give us some context, because I don't know who this guy is.
It was about, I tweeted that, that the stuff that came out in the motion, the Rosemary Scapiccio thing.
The Miles King.
Yeah, the Miles King case, and there's like, stuff about how he now apparently has a lot of racist material on his phone. And,
good.
And it was like, and people are tweeting like the pro Michael Proctor people are like, well, is a lot 5? Is it 300? I'm like, 5 is bad. Like, don't get
one.
5 is enough. 1 is maybe you mistyped with your thumbs and Apple filled in the wrong thing, which it would not do. But it always says like fuck is duck. It's really stupid. But then I retweeted that and I said something like, and remember all those people trying to tell us that Proctor is a good cop. Like I retweeted the thing about there being lots of racist texts, and Cowboy Fan 105 was like, he was an excellent officer. And I tweeted back, I was like, are you okay? And they tweeted back like something about how I'm definitely sleeping with Turtleboy.
Does Kevin know?
And then again, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I can't wait till the world finds out about the sex video I made with Turtleboy up against the refrigerator. Do not take that clip out of context and put it on the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, funny to me. Wait, one more thing, one more comment I want to talk about, and this one's kind of funny, and I have no idea what they're talking about, but it's hilarious to me. This comment was left on our YouTube by Floyd's Fam. Don't know who that is. And it says, I stumbled upon a Reddit article about Mel being the smartest Real World cast member, and I couldn't agree more. I've never been on the Real World. I definitely worked in reality television, and I definitely helped produce a Real World adjacent show for BET at one point. But I have never been on the Real World, and I'd really like to know who this Mel is that they're talking about that was on the Real World. And apparently they're the smartest Real World cast member. So It's not me. I just want to clear the record on that one. Not me, but
You
I really
remember
laughed
when,
out loud.
do you remember when Jerry Brown ran for president in
Oh, jeez.
1990? It would have been in 96, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
it was 92, or maybe it was 92. Anyway, whenever the first season of The Real World was on,
Yeah.
the very first season in New York, when they didn't have to have a stupid job, and it was
Kevin.
literally, yeah, and it was Kevin, who's now like a award-winning poet,
He's
and
amazing.
Julie, and then the
Julie.
muscular dude, and anyway, they go to a Jerry Brown rally for some reason in this season, and my sister was
Really?
there, and my sister is like
Whoa.
in a long ass shot from The Real World season 1, and I'm like, listen. You've done a lot of things in your life, and I am a media person. She is not, but I'm like, I've been on television, I've been on podcasts, I've been whatever. I would fucking die to be on a scene on The Real World from the 90s. But anyway,
Oh my God. I know. It changed my world view of everything, that show. And then who would have thought we would have Sean Duffy from The Real World as head of
Real
our
World Boston, baby.
ugh.
He's our transportation secretary.
What
Thinks
are
we
we
need to dress.
doing?
He thinks we
What are
need to
we
dress
doing?
nice for planes. You know what's so funny about that is that Kevin and I talk about this a lot because we travel a lot for work, and
Mm-hmm.
we travel enough that sometimes we get to fly first class and stuff with upgrades, which is
Mm-hmm.
very fucking fancy and lucky.
Yep.
But so we really love flying. I actually like to fly, and I like
Yeah.
the experience because you go because we have a business credit card. We get to the lounges. It's fucking great. And I find it relaxing. So I don't bring. I was flying down here yesterday, and there's always like the shuttle that goes from Manchester, New Hampshire to here. There's always like a senator on it, or
Yeah.
Corey Lewandowski, or somebody coming from New Hampshire.
Ugh.
There wasn't this time, but there
Oof.
were several men who were talking on their phones about a loud business deal, like right before we took off, until they no longer had signal, and then the second we had signal again on the phone again. And I'm like, what is the matter with you? This is the one situation in your life where you can pretend you have no access to communication
Airplane mode.
for as long as you want. Like you can say, oh,
Yeah.
I was traveling, I was flying. And that's me. Like I love it. So Kevin and I, when we travel and we go to get to do fancy planes and fancy lounges, I'm always like, or he'll say, one of us will say, back in the day, they used to they used to be like this, and they used to dress up, and they used to do whatever. And so we'll say that like in a
And they used to
nostalgic,
smoke cigarettes.
yeah, like that must have been fun, because it was so special, and we think flying is kind of special too. But when he actually said that, like seriously, Sean Duffy, like people should dress, I was like, no, fuck you, no. And it's
Yeah.
and it was so funny because like I have not seen anybody from any part of the political spectrum who thinks this is a good idea, except for Sean
you
Duffy.
should watch. The comedian Michelle Wolf who did the correspondence dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant. Wasn't that the last one because he was so mad at her?
But I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah, because he was talking about
Anyway.
Sarah Huckabee burning her lies and using them for a smoky eye. Yeah.
Michelle Wolf is one of my favorite comedians. We saw her live in DC a couple months ago, but she did a response to Sean Duffy and his fancy clothes. You should watch it.
Okay.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody should go watch that. All right, let's get into this because you have things to do.
Actually, I'm good for a little bit if you want to talk.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I don't have to be
yesterday
here until 5:45.
After we got off, that sounds awful. After we stopped recording yesterday, I texted you and said, remind me to tell you about vampire facials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I
just
said,
for one,
Tarek from Flip or Flop got one, and that is how I know what they are.
Okay, one quick tangent about vampire facials. Just for the record.
Sounds dirty. It sounds like a vampire came on your face.
I know. It also sounds like super like Hunger Games District 1 kind of shit, But I don't go get Botox. I've only had a couple. Yeah, I've only had a couple of facials in my life. I do love a facial.
Me too.
Because I like massages. I like those kind of things. But I'm not fancy like that. Like I don't go out and get, I think I've had maybe 2 or 3 pedicures. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm a sporty lesbian athlete, so I don't really get that kind of stuff. But my friend Sean.
Wait, you're a lesbian?
I'm a lesbian. Oh, shit. I should have told you that before we started doing the show together. Okay. Do you want to leave?
No, I'm good.
I know how homophobic you are. Okay, listen. Now the audience knows.
Not an ally. Not an ally.
Not an ally at all. So my friend Sean, who is a fabulous gay man, we were at like a Christmas gathering, like a holiday gathering the other day, and he's a little bit older than me. I think he's probably, I'm going to be 50. He's probably like 57 or something like that. And this guy walks up to me and he was like, Mel. And I gave him a hug, not knowing who he was because I just give people hugs. And then I looked up because he's like 6 feet tall and I'm 5 feet tall. And I looked up and I went, oh my God, Sean, he lost 15 years off his life. He was like, girl, I had a vampire facial. They took my blood. And for the audience who doesn't know what a vampire facial is, they take a little bit of your blood and they microplane your own blood back into your face, all over your face. And literally, he looks like he's in his 40s. He looks amazing. I don't know how long it lasts, but I'm like, I gotta.
But don't you
do
look horrible right after you get it, though, from what I learned.
I didn't see him right after. I saw him like when he was shiny and new. And oh my God, they're amazing.
Can I tell you something before?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tangent City. I was in the airport yesterday with my colleague, Nick, and we were about to get on the plane. And this woman came up behind me we're like queuing to scan your boarding pass.
This could go one of two ways.
And she said, he tapped my shirt and she goes, hi. And I had a moment of panic where I was like, this is either a fan who I've met before or somebody I know. And I don't remember who this is. So I did the thing where I was like, hi, you.
Hey, how are you?
And hoped that like she would introduce herself to Nick or whatever. And I was like, and I'm like wearing this like velvet like blazer. It's like beautiful because then we were going to an event right after. I was like really excited about my velvet blazer. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm wearing this like good outfit when I'm meeting this person who might be a fan or might be someone I actually know. I don't fucking know. And she does that. I turn around. I say, oh, hi. And she goes, you don't know me, but you have a piece of toilet paper hanging out of the back of your pants. And not only did I have a piece of toilet paper, I had a piece of toilet paper like this long.
Oh, that was so nice of her.
It was nice, but also like everyone else in the thing had clearly seen it. And people were looking at me in the thing, and I thought they were looking at my fucking velvet jacket. I swear to God. I was like, wasn't really an airplane outfit. It's like a burgundy velvet dressy
I dressed
jacket.
up for the airplane like Sean Duffy told me to.
People were looking at the TP. Anyway, God bless you, woman, whoever you are. I love you.
I love that story. I love stories like that so much. That's so funny to me. That was a good one. And that's, women looking out for women because there were no men that told you that.
I was with my fucking coworker and he didn't tell me that.
Did he see it?
He said he didn't see it, and I believe him.
Sure, he didn't.
I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he didn't. Now, also, like, I'm his boss technically, even though we're really good friends. But no, I was just like, Nick, you didn't have my back. He's like, I wasn't looking in that direction.
I wasn't looking at your butt, Rebecca.
Exactly. Anyway.
Oh my God, so funny. All right, do you want to start with you go, and then I'll give you some updates on Brian Walshe stuff.
Sure. So there was just a little while ago a hearing for the Turtleboy Aiden Carney witness intimidation case, and this is one of the cases involving the McAlberts.
Yep.
And that case has been assigned a new judge because Julian, Krupp, whatever, like they're all like have to be out for whatever because they're all being sued by Lindsay Catani or whatever. Those details don't matter for this story. So they have a new judge who I really like. So
I really like him a lot too.
Because you can tell like he's very measured insofar as he's not going to tell you what he's going to do at all. And he's not going to hint at it either. But he's just like, where are we with this? And he clearly is the kind of judge who will prepare because he demanded that the next responses for the next hearing, which is going to be on January 23rd, be in 10 days before that hearing.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, it's clear that he's like, get me everything I fucking need because I will actually read it, you clowns. And by clowns, I just mean Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, yeah.
So Cosgrove, so they had filed, Aiden Carney and his team, and this is Mark Betterow and Bradle, had filed a motion to have Cosgrove conflicted out and have to recuse himself from prosecuting the case.
As he should. He should be recusing himself.
Well, because he's going to be a subject also of the Lindsay Catani lawsuit, and he's going to be named in other cases and so forth. And so they filed this, and he was supposed to respond to this like a couple weeks ago. And he filed his response to that motion like 2 hours
Today.
before the hearing, which
Yeah.
is so typical of these Commonwealth clowns. It is so typical. The drip, drab, drips of discovery. There was also a drip of discovery like yesterday that was like, showed a log of things they found or they had now. And it included like Kate Peters shit. And it was just a list of
Yeah.
stuff. Anyway, so what happened at this hearing, it was not particularly eventful. It was, do we all agree that I can be the judge on this case? And then the judge went through
Yeah.
his potential conflicts. He's like, I did grow up in Canton, but I'm way older than all these fucking people. He didn't say fucking, that's me paraphrasing. I'm way
He
older than all
took
these people.
Cosgrove's seat.
Yeah. Yeah. Cosgrove was a
Yeah.
judge, which
That's insane
I
to me.
forgot
I'm
that.
terrified of that.
Well, you should be. You should be. I forgot that he was a judge, and he talked about having argued cases in front of Cosgrove when he was a defense attorney. He talked about arguing cases against Bradel. He didn't know Betterow because Betterow's from New York, by the way, and he's been pro hoc VJ into Massachusetts. But so he just talked about it. He's like, I know you, but we've never socialized. I know you, but we've never socialized. So we all agree I have no conflicts. And the answer was, of course, we all agree we have no conflicts. And of course, the defense is like, yeah. So Cosgrove, the defense is like, yeah, we agree, it's fine. And Cosgrove is like, if it's as you described it, Judge, then I am fine with it. I do not believe in making fun of people's voices. I do not believe in like that being a character flaw. That being said, when you are a prosecutor or a defense attorney and you are in court and your job is to use your voice to become a compelling, argumentative person, like, he's not the one for that. It sounds like you're listening to a male Diane Rehm. And those of you who don't listen to public radio don't know who I'm talking about.
I love Diane Rehm.
Not me. She was horrible to her staff. Anyway.
Was she? Oh,
yeah.
No.
I knew so many people who worked for her.
Tell me these things.
I knew so many people who worked for her, and her dog, she'd bring her dog to work and her dog would literally bite people, and she was terrible to her staff. It's Maxie, I think her dog's name was. Anyway, so first it was a conflicted out, and then it was just a discussion of like, motion stuff. So they basically want to just schedule a hearing on the next round of stuff. And it was just that conversation. And Bradel and Betterow like want to go, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like, how about mid-January? And Cosgrove was like, I will be out of the country. And so, there was this whole thing. And then it also came up that Betterow and Bradel for Carney want to separate out the recusal from anything else. And they're like, we can't actually give you an answer on, because the judge suggested that they merge the remaining cases against Aidan Carney. And as I understand it, the remaining cases are the witness intimidation one, where like the McCabe's, and so forth, said he was harassing witnesses, and the D&E pizza one. And the judge is like, will you merge these cases? Because we're essentially going to do discovery of all the same people.
Yeah.
And he said, it's not the behavior that's in dispute. It's what the behavior meant.
Yes.
So,
one side thinks that it's a First Amendment issue. The other side says it's witness intimidation. Do we all agree on that?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, and then Betterow is like, I can't give you that answer unless I know the answer to the recusal question. Yes. And there are technical reasons why. I won't get it. Has to do with like the order of operations of things. So that came up, and the judge was like, I will get to that, I promise. And apparently we're getting to it on the 23rd of January. But the other thing that came up was Karen Reed's phone.
Yes.
So they have, they're waiting for another judge, I believe it's Krupp, to decide on whether or not they will have the prosecution, in this case, the Commonwealth, will get Karen Reed's device dump for this case. And the judge, very rightly, after they were kind of going back, said, so there's no indictment against her for this. So anything that would be considered, communication with her would be on the Carney devices, right? And then the guy's like, oh, no, whatever. And
Mello did something.
Mello, oh my God, Mello was invoked so many times. Now, Mello, for those of you who don't know, I have heard comments that we're supposed to signpost this more and tell people who people are. Mello was the special prosecutor who was on these cases before. And if you think this dude, Cosgrove, is difficult to listen to, he's a huge upgrade over Mello. Mello apparently is very sick. And Mello is the one that came up in this hearing who's been dropping discovery. Yes. According to Cosgrove, it's Mello's fault. The discovery's been coming in so slowly and piecemeal and unreliably. And Betterow was like, Why don't we send somebody to his house
Yeah.
and knock on the door and just pick up the
Yeah.
stuff, take custody of everything he has? And the judge said, well, no. It's I think he's sort of implying like that's sort of like an extrajudicial thing that would be weird. We'll just say, I
Yeah.
will compel you, and then you will be sanctioned if you don't, but that's the process. But I loved it when he was
Yeah.
like, just send someone to the guy's house, dude.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. He was like, "Yeah, why can't we just go and get it?" Like not to be, not to be offensive or anything, but like, can we just go and get the discovery that we need for this case that is taking, however many
Right.
years to do it? And the judge literally said, "Well, listen, I'm not going to micromanage how he handles his discovery. Just get it done."
Right. I like that.
Like he like came right. I was surprised because when he opened and was talking about, his relationships with everybody on the call, he was pretty hard on Cosgrove, I thought.
Yeah. Well, the other
Yeah.
thing too is that I don't think this judge, I'm getting the sense that this judge will not put up with the nonsense of things like filing a
Yes.
response the same day as the hearing. And this judge, like at one point, at the very end, Cosgrove asked the question. He's like, the last matter is, Doolin
Yeah.
said everything has to be filed by paper, and that's inconvenient when I'm on a deadline. And the judge was like, no, you're reading that wrong. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Doolin said everything has to be filed on paper because it does at some
It
point have to
does.
be filed on paper. If you send it electronically, you still at some point do have to hand it over in paper. But
Yes.
we will accept as long as the court can. And I don't know if the court he's moving to can, but we will accept electronic as long as the attorneys
He's in
have it
Suffolk.
and as long as I have it, as long as everybody has it, like it's
Yeah.
fine. And he's like, oh, is that how you thought it should be interpreted? And he's like, yeah. And so did Bradle and Betterow. So
Right.
uh, anyway, so yeah, so he doesn't strike me as the kind of judge who's going to put up with the nonsense games that the Commonwealth seems to be
No.
playing in these cases. He's not going to put up with late stuff. He's not going to put up with, I'm not predicting this. I'm saying he doesn't seem this way. So that's essentially what happened. But there was a discussion about how long all this could take.
Right.
And it kind of came up, and Betterow made the point rightly when kept making all the calculations that like Cosgrove is talking about and the judge is talking about. And then if Cosgrove is recused, there has to be a new prosecutor found who's then going to have to learn the facts of the case. And now they're talking about prosecuting this case next November, like next fall.
November, possibly December.
Yeah. Now, November
Insane.
will be, so this will be years. This will be
Years.
3
This is
plus
going to take
years.
Yeah,
Longer
and
than
I
it
mean
took to try Karen Reed the first time for murder.
exactly.
Longer than it's taking to try Brian Walshe right now. And he cut up his
Right.
damn wife. He admits that, so I don't have to say
2 years
allegedly.
ago. Actually, did you wait? I have to correct one thing. I've been saying that, but apparently conveying a body doesn't mean he actually cut her up. It just means that he threw the body parts away. Melanie Little made that distinction today on her stream. So I don't know. I believe that she knows what she's talking about.
That's probably right. All right.
But
so Brian
crazy.
Walshe definitely got rid of his fun.
Yeah, faux show.
And since he had cuts all over his hands, I'm guessing did something else to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he that was way shorter, and that's a fucking murder case
with over 3,000 Google searches and 3 phone extractions
with
and
the
a computer.
Same cops.
Yeah.
So it's not
It's
not like this other police department is just faster and better and more efficient, and these other prosecutors' office is better, faster, more efficient. No, it's the same office, same cops. This case is so dirty. It's so convoluted.
It's so dirty.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's not a friggin' murder case.
Right.
It's a First Amendment / witness intimidation case.
Having him, and it's very important to understand that having him with this hanging over him is the point.
Yes.
The point is
they're trying to drain his resources.
And well, they're also trying to shut him up. And it's funny because most defendants, this is the defendant's strategy. Delay, 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 so I cannot be in jail. And so that the punch of the case gets really deflated. You see this all the time with federal cases, all sorts of cases. Like the longer it takes, the less, like this podcast we just put out at my day job, Operation Nightcat, just so much time passed. All these charges ended up being dropped against these like horrible people. Or they were never prosecuted. Excuse me, that was actually incorrect. They were never prosecuted. Charges weren't dropped. But so that's usually and this is a prosecution tactic designed to keep him on the hook, to try to muzzle him, and it's clearly not working. But also, they've picked the wrong person to do that to. But I also think it's an attempt to keep him on the hook so they can bait him into another.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There
that's basically what happened. That's pretty much all that happened today.
there were two things that popped out to me. I just started to skim read the response that Cosgrove put in.
Gaetani's all over it.
Not only is she all over it, he's just like, he's kind of disparaging her.
Well, he's repeating disparaging things and then disparaging her. He's like,
he said something along the lines of, like, basically she is chronically online kind of thing. And then
and not inaccurate.
No, I get it, but it's just the way he's talking about her. She was his star witness. This case is star witness. And the idea that
no, she was the other case's star witness.
The other case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the way he describes how she met Turtleboy, it makes her sound like a friggin' idiot. And I think that's the point. I think he was trying to do that. He even says, like, she bought a free Karen Reed t-shirt from Turtleboy and then sent him a picture of herself wearing it.
And then
the next thing you know, sex. And they even sent each other videos of sex and masturbation. And it's just like, none of this is actually...
once that she was accused of putting her baby in a closet. So then Carney would call it closet baby. And it's like, the fact that he's repeating this stuff, it's so undignified.
It's
so
not
befitting.
He's so gross.
Just make the fucking... I mean, you're a prosecutor and you work... Your job is to make the legal arguments. Your job is not to say titillating things at the internet. I mean, he's entering the chat is what he's doing. He's entering the chat.
The other thing I wanted to bring up was when Jen McCabe entered the chat.
Yeah, not literally.
No.
He didn't literally enter the chat.
So Bettero was talking about grand jury testimony and saying that he needed the grand jury testimony. And he was describing... do you remember that part? Do you remember what happened? Can you explain it?
He basically said, we need grand jury material. Because we heard that he basically was like, your star witness.
Yeah.
Said all of these things and blah, 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 blah. And he did not invoke her name. He was being a lawyer, right? And then he was asked, who are you talking about? He's like, Jen McCabe.
You dumbass. Jen McCabe.
But it's like, it was the judge who asked that question, right? Not Cosgrove. I don't remember, but it was
couldn't tell because
it was a clarifying question. Cosgrove knew who he was talking about. Everybody knows he was talking about Jen McCabe. But
as soon as he started talking, I was like, Jen McCabe.
Yeah, the fact that her name was said out loud. There's also, by the way, a great new video online that does exactly what I've been saying. It goes through Jen's testimony timeline of when John's body was taken away, and it shows concurrently the camera footage. This whole thing was on film. They were on film the entire time between the 911 call, the police getting there, and him leaving, and then after. And and of course, none of the things she said happened. Anyway, look for that one. It's a good one. But yeah,
I saw
that was fun.
That was an interesting, and it was good. And you know what? One of the things that stuck out to me, and I'm sure this got under Aiden's skin, like it got under mine for him. But when the judge was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Kearney, do you pronounce it Kearney or Carney? And Aiden piped up and he said, Judge, you pronounce it Carney. 2 seconds later, Cosgrove called him Kearney.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you fucker. You just heard. You're such a dick. You just heard.
This is a dickish thing to do.
Ugh. Anyway, but speaking of Jen McCabe, one other story. I saw this very quick video the other day. I'm going to have to find it and send it to you. And it's something that's always...
about the website briefly too, by the way. We forgot to talk about the website. The McAlbert website.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. I haven't even seen it. You can tell me all about it. Okay, but listen. So in her testimony, do you remember when she was being asked in the second trial about who all was at John O'Keefe's house after, like when Karen came to get her stuff with her dad? Mm-hmm. And she's like, and it was Alan Jackson, and he was like, so who was there? And she was like, Peggy and John Sr. and his brother and blah, blah, blah. And the auto repair guy, ding, ding, ding. And then it just it made me realize in that moment, in watching that video, that I don't know how many days after. Do you know how many days after John passed?
This was right after. I think this was like the next day. And
because
she
I
said the
think
auto repair guy, and I think I know where you're going with this, and I don't think that's what she meant. I don't think she meant the guy who was repairing the dent on John O'Keefe's car. I think she
okay,
meant
because
he was friends with everybody, including his auto repair guy, is what I think she meant.
I think you're probably right, but the idea that they had called someone over to fix the dent, I think he did come over and he probably was the guy who fixed the dent, but I want to know at what was the time frame of when he fixed the dent?
Mm.
Because
If there was a dent, yeah. But a
if
dent,
there
by the
was
way,
a
is very easily fixable. You put this little magnetic thing on it, you
yeah,
pop it
you
out.
just
I've watched
suck it
people do
out.
it. Yeah.
I know. I used to have one for like my old beater car, but I want to know when the dent was fixed and if the cops looked into it, which they obviously didn't, because the auto repair guy was there and they're like, oh, John's car, his car's got a, or if they found out, if Karen mentioned that she backed into it and they fixed it to go along with the story. I don't know. The video just kind of stuck out to me and I was just like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. But it really like got me start like going down this rabbit hole of the, like the broken taillight and the dent in the car and the blah, 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 blah. So anyway,
Okay.
all right, tell me about the website.
So the McAlberts and
Mm-hmm.
Higgins have
Mm-hmm.
launched a Truth and
And
Justice website.
Higgins?
Yes, I believe that the Higgins is involved too. Have launched a Truth and Justice website where they are raising money.
Truth and Justice.
Well, I'm not saying the name of the website because I don't want to platform it. People can look it up for themselves. But they've started a website where it's a fundraiser for their legal fund, right? And then they invite people to leave testimony. And they actually also rented a billboard near
Yeah.
Gillette Stadium. Now, keep in mind, billboard rentals are very fucking
Ugh.
expensive, and they're ostensibly raising money for a legal fund. And I'm like, some of that money is being, this is a PR campaign. This whole thing.
Can you imagine if they did a billboard and it was just all the McAlberts in like a lawyer or like a 5 o'clock news pose where they're all like,
It was like that.
like
Yeah, like,
standing in a
like in
line.
law, like the end of Law and Order, like open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they started this website, and it has the most almost unbelievable thing on it. My favorite thing is they've basically made these like Topps baseball cards of each of them with look at the most
No.
flattering photos they could find. So the one of Jen McCabe is the one where she was at her niece's wedding in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, standing outside the church in this like off-shoulder dress. And even then her face looks
No.
really fucking unhappy. Yes. And then they have a photo, for instance, of Jen McCabe and
Yeah.
her most attractive photo. And it says in script, "We believe you." And then one of Brian Albert, "We believe you." And of course,
Holy
everyone's
fuck.
like, "Where's Chloe's? Where's Chloe's? We believe you," right? So yeah,
Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Look at this website.
tell me
Hold
what
on
you
here.
see. I don't
Okay.
have my computer with me, so I
Well,
can't look at
first
it
of
with
all,
you.
it looks like one of those old like Yahoo, like you build it yourself websites. At the
CSS.
top, in a school in a rectangle, blue rectangle, it says testify. And then it says, join the witnesses from the Karen Reed trial, exclamation point. Over the past few years, many have asked how they can support witnesses in the John O'Keefe case who continue to be
Many have
relentlessly,
asked.
many have asked, who continue to be relentlessly harassed and defamed. Now is the time. Click to read more. Take action.
Take action.
Um,
It's like a public radio fundraising website for these
okay.
horrible people.
Standing with the Alberts, McCabe's, and Higgins families to fight against harassment and defamation. The Alberts, McCabe's, and Higgins families are asking for support in fighting against the ongoing personal and professional attacks endured since April 2023. These attacks are part of a coordinated and targeted effort to shift blame and spread misinformation about the tragic death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. So they go on. I mean, this is lengthy. They go on. They're like, throughout 2 criminal trials, false narratives have been weaponized.
Oh, it's everything that you've seen that they've put out in the media. You have to find the photos.
Unfortunately, the steadfast faith in the justice system was deeply misplaced. Okay, let me look for the photos. Okay, so we stand for truth. We stand for justice. We stand for witnesses. They have Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok.
But they've been
right. I'm sure they have. To the right of this is a box with I don't even recognize some of these people. That's the crazy thing. John O'Keefe is centered in the middle of it. This was definitely put together in like, you remember that program Paint?
Mm-hmm.
I
still use it. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't even know it existed anymore.
Yeah, it's built into Windows. You can still use it.
All right. So the first guy is Albert Jr. And then what was the woman? What was the girl with the long dark hair that was in the
You mean
car? And they
Brian
talked.
Jr.?
I meant Brian Jr. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brian Jr. And then what's the
Heather
girl with the
Maxon?
long? Heather Maxon, Chris Albert, Nicole Albert, Colin Albert, Brian Albert, Jen McCabe, Allie McCabe, and what's her other daughter's name?
I don't know. I don't know
There's
any people's names.
two of her daughters, or maybe it was the other girl that was in the car. Brian
Jen Jr.
Higgins.
Oh, the other one in the car was the nurse, Sarah Robinson. Sarah,
Something.
yeah,
I don't
Sarah
know.
something.
Matt McCabe, and then who's the crazy, in my opinion, who's the crazy
We're
McCabe?
we're perpetrating a false narrative and harassing witnesses right now, Mel. Watch
Who was the
out.
woman who was the woman that jumped out of the car when Turtleboy was being
Oh, Jill
harassed?
Daniels.
Jill Daniels is
She
on
was
here
the one
too.
who called him Bukaki on the stand because she had read it on the
Yes,
turtle.
Bukaki.
Because she was watching Turtle Boy, and she also had been on Turtle Boy and screamed at him live on his show, and then she fucking went
Jill.
on the stand and called him Bukaki. And I love the video of David Yannetti talking
Yeah.
about when that happened,
Oh
and he
yeah.
was just like, I didn't know what to. I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Jill Bukaki Daniels is on here. Carrie Roberts, and then the other girl that was in the car, the blonde girl, blondish girl. Maybe I'm not sure who she is. Anyway, there's a couple people I don't recognize, but for the most part, that's like
Oh,
everyone.
the girl that the bad FKRs make fun of her weight. That girl.
Oh, that's
Julie
too bad.
Nagel. Julie Nagel.
Yeah,
She was in the
Julie
car.
Nagel. Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's a video that starts with Nicole Albert's testimony, which I'm not going to click on that. There's someone holding a New Hampshire license plate that says Free Karen. And then it has, wait, why are they showing that? That's weird. It's a New Hampshire plate and it says, oh, because this is what they're talking about with the
Oh,
harassment.
they're harassing themselves and they're on a website.
It's a New Hampshire plate that says Free Karen, in the way that New Hampshire does it. And then he's holding a sign, I'm assuming it's a guy, holding a sign with Brian Albert, Matt McCabe. I can't tell who the other guy is. Helena Rafferty. I can't tell who the other guy is. There's two other people out here. They're all behind bars. And that's
yeah. That's how we've been harassed and intimidated. It was people posting funny memes about us on the internet.
Oh my God.
And like I said on our last show, you have a choice to just not fucking respond to that shit. But here they are. And they also went on YouTube, apparently. They did YouTube Live, which I have not watched, but apparently it was so bad that they ended up leaving early or something. And people I know who've seen it said something like, I don't know if it's going to stay on the internet after this, apparently it didn't go great, but
they are so.
Have you found the pictures, the Topps cards yet?
Not yet, but these people are really delusional. In Massachusetts, as well as across the country, victims who report the threat, it says the threat. In Massachusetts, as well as across the country, victims who report crimes, witnesses who come forward, good people who simply do the right thing are being harassed, defamed, threatened, and pressured into silence. Imagine stepping forward, believing justice will protect you, only to find yourself fighting for your peace, your privacy, and your safety.
If only they had stayed silent.
Could be said about Karen Reed. That could be said about Karen Reed.
If only they had stayed silent. But they did the opposite of that.
I know. And then they have our mission, and the picture next to it is like a lake with like paper lanterns floating. But it's a really bad picture. I think it was like someone's. It's
probably a stock photo.
Killer, murder. Yeah, totally stock.
You can probably screen cap that, do a Google search, and find where that photo came from very easily.
Because under our vision, the weight of justice, the weights of
justice.
Want to
start an organization or some shit in the future, which is not starting. Yeah. Saying you want to in the future is not doing it. Testify.
Protect Jen McCabe. Testify.
Anyway, I forgot to tell you about that the other day because I was so nervous about missing my plane. But anyway.
Well, thank you for telling me about it. That gave me joy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the Brian Walshe trial the past couple of days. Interesting stuff happened, but oh my God, it's monotonous. Because they have all of this binder of all these searches, and they have his laptop and two of the cell phones. There's just a lot of data, right? All right, so day 4, I was looking forward to this testimony. William Fastow, who is Anna's lover, testified, and there were some interesting things here. He met Anna in 2022, helped them. I should say he didn't just help Anna. He helped Brian and Anna purchase this condo in DC that they were planning to move into. So he didn't meet in person, Brian, but he did FaceTime with Brian. He did talk to Brian on the phone. And it's so basic. The way that I understand their relationship from his testimony, Anna was married to Brian, had 3 young boys. He was going through a separation. Fastow was going through a separation. He's a real estate agent in DC. He also has 2 young boys. So they were already like, it was starting to get more serious when she passed away. But they basically would see each other when she was in DC. They would hang out only with his friends. He was open about the relationship. She wasn't. But he said that he's kind of I hate to say this, it's my opinion, he's a total douchebag. But he was like, yeah, we had plans to go out to dinner when she came back on the 4th of January after New Year's to celebrate our New Year's and to sit down and talk about our 3, 5, 7, and 10-year plans.
So,
and I was just like,
was it their mid-year review?
I was just like, is this the State of the Union? Like, what are we doing here? Like, how do you, I mean, I understand some people really want to think about that and like plan out their futures like that. But how do 2 people who are not divorced, by the way, neither one of them divorced, with 5 little boys under the age of, I think, like 8, are talking about how to combine their lives and their 3, 5, 7, and 10-year plans?
Yeah.
I just thought, you're a psychopath too. Here's another interesting thing. This is another case where the Commonwealth allowed a witness, it seems, I'm going to put that out there, it seems, to cherry pick their own messages and hand over. He did not give over his full phone. He gave over messages. This guy, I don't know. She was talking a lot to him about.
You like the judge more than you like him romantically. Then I'm picking up on.
Oh, absolutely, Judge Frenier. And today she looked really good. Her hair was on point. She had great lipstick on, and she got a little snippy today, which was really funny to me. But it wasn't in the way that Bev got snippy, where it was condescending. She was kind of funny, but like really hard. Like they introduced a photo or something into evidence, and she was like, you want to give me a copy? And they were like, oh yeah, sorry. They're like, oh yeah, sorry, Judge. She's like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Why didn't you give me a copy? So she's like dry, and I really like that, but Judge Frenier, she looked good. She looked good on the bench today, and she had control of this courtroom, and I appreciate that about her. It's one of the things I appreciate.
She's your crash daddy is what she is.
She is my crash daddy. She is my judge daddy.
Yeah.
She's probably not a daddy, but my judge mommy.
I love this.
Oh,
By
that's
the way,
so gross.
A whole part of like our audience who's like accepts you because you're making content they like, but like don't really love gays. Right now, they're like, what?
I will say there were several comments that were like, I'm here for Judge Frenier too. You're right. She's hot.
Great.
This is amazing. I love it.
Great.
So yeah, like anybody who wants to talk about Judge Frenier, I'm here for it. DM me, whatever. And it's so hard to not say her name because I thought it was like, Freniere. So that would be kind of pretty. But now I'm like Judge Frenier. Judge Frenier.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Diane. William Fastow on the stand cherry-picked his messages, and they asked him why, like the defense asked him why, and he's like, well, you want me to be honest? And they were like, yeah, you're on the fucking stand, dude. He looks like a thumb, but with hair. He looks like a hairy thumb. And
trademark Rebecca Lavoie.
He was like, well, I deleted some of them because quite frankly, I was embarrassed about what I was talking about with her. So it was definitely like sexting stuff, whatever.
It was
but
your
he deleted
dick.
A bunch of stuff.
It was pictures of your dick.
And I don't really know where they thought this was going, because he literally said to her, my oldest son, like, he is not going to be able to handle another woman coming into my life. Like, I don't know how we're going to do this kind of thing.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore, unfortunately.
No, he doesn't. That was also really strange. Like, I guess I'm expecting more emotion out of these men.
And a couple years. Getting it. At this point, though, with him, it's been a couple years. He's probably moved on. Yeah, it's like the Karen Reed thing. People always said that. It's like their relationship was toxic, and
getting
it's been
dark.
3 fucking years.
So anyway, yeah. So Fastow, he sort of cherry picked his messages. He didn't want anyone seeing the dick pics, and she talked to him about how unhappy she was. And here's something that came up that I didn't understand before, but now I'm starting to understand it. And the defense's case is starting to make a lot more sense to me. I have to say,
It
he,
couldn't make less sense, that's for
I know,
sure.
that's for sure. He said that she was very upset with Brian because in order for him to get house arrest instead of going to jail
On the art thing.
on the art thing, on the federal case, he had to say that he was the sole and primary caregiver to the children. And so they did that, which means that he and the children had to stay in Boston in order for him to stay out of jail. And she was pissed off that they made that decision.
Oh, so
The
the
other,
kids had to stay. She didn't care
the
about him.
kids,
So she couldn't bring the kids to DC to her new life.
yeah, her place was set up. She had 3 bedrooms for the boys. They all had beds. They had dressers. They had everything they needed in her new condo, her townhouse. And which I found out was not actually in DC. I know a lot of people do this with Boston and DC. Like I lived in Somerville and I said I lived in Boston because people don't know where Somerville is. And now I live in Bethesda and I usually say I live in DC. She actually lived in Chevy Chase, Maryland. And from the description, she lived in a place just like the one that I live in, which is like 4-story townhouse, with 4 or 5 bedrooms. So she had it all. She had a home gym installed she was set up to move there. And that was their original plan. This whole federal case really put a thorn in the side of all that. Yeah.
Yeah. He basically was holding the kids hostage for his own legal benefit.
Exactly. And not only that, he was holding all their accounts hostage. Everything was in her name, except for their house, the rental.
Which was his mother, right? That rented
well,
it?
not only, it wasn't just his mother on the rental, she also was on their phones. She paid the plan, or she signed up and set up the plan for their cell phones, which is going to come up later.
I saw that his mother's being sued for damage to the property.
Yeah, by the landlord, because her name was on the lease and the cops, messed up the whole house, doing the searches and everything.
And by the way, the house is now on Zillow if anyone is curious about seeing it.
It is. Yes, it is. It's a very interesting place. The pool, it was disgusting. The pictures they showed of the pool, it was so disgusting. They went through all this stuff with Fastow. He didn't really catch too hard of a time. The defense really nailed him a little bit on the fact that they didn't really talk much about, they hadn't made a plan to tell Brian, basically. And the one interesting thing I found in the testimony is that after, a couple days after Anna went missing, he got 2 phone calls from Brian, right? So can you hear Ruby?
It's fine. She's cute.
Hanging off the chair, snoring her life away. He got 2 phone calls from Brian. The interesting thing about it is the prosecution, they're being a little shady, I have to say. So they're cherry picking the searches that he made, but they're also cherry picking Fastow and a couple of other pieces of information. So they brought up in direct examination that Brian was looking up William Fastow online. Brian was looking up William Fastow online because he was their real estate agent. He was one of the only people that Anna said she knew in DC, and she was missing, and he was looking for her, is what he said.
That's what he said. That's interesting. So this was after.
No. But let me lay this out a little bit better. I didn't do a good job. Let's say Brian is telling the truth. She died, which I found some information that might actually go to that theory.
No.
Wait, you just wait. It's going to come out. It comes out in this testimony from today.
Okay.
So let's say he's telling the truth. She died in bed. He freaked the fuck out because of everything they had going on. And he dismembered her body. Someone dismembered her body. He disposed of her body parts. In order to make himself look like he thought she was missing, he needed to contact everybody.
Got it. And he fake texted her too, right? He sent her text.
Yes.
Yeah.
He sent her text too. And so he called Fastow twice. And they were like, well, did you answer it? And he's like, no, I let it go to voicemail. And the defense was like, why'd you let it go to voicemail? And he was like, to be honest with you, I thought because I couldn't get in touch with her that she had told him And he was calling to confront me, and I didn't want to be confronted, so I didn't answer it.
That's very, very, very realistic as a response.
Yeah. And then he's like, but he called again. And he's like, I started thinking I should probably answer it. Or no, he left a voicemail. They played the voicemail in court. Really interesting. He left a voicemail and it said, hey, I'm really, he's very nice. Brian is. He's very, he's got great manners. He speaks with respect for, like he speaks with respect to people he's talking to. He calls and he's like, I'm very sorry to, to bother you. And this is sort of a weird thing, but I need to let you know that I haven't heard from Anna in a few days. And I just didn't know if she'd had any contact with you. And if you could, if you run into her, let me know. Or if you hear from her, please let me know. We're really worried about her. She was supposed to be home 2 days ago, whatever.
Okay. Let me just hit pause.
Yes.
I think he knew about the relationship, but he also knew that this is the kind of phone call he had to make it seem like his wife was missing. Yeah.
But I don't think it matters if he knew about it or not. I know that the prosecution is pressing that, but they have evidence that Anna told him that she thought that he was hot, or that he thought she was hot.
Mm-hmm.
She told Brian that. And he knew that they were in communication. I feel like they had sort of a mutually beneficial kind of relationship. I don't know if they had an open relationship. I don't know anything about that, but I don't think that that's a huge thing if he knew about the affair, because he may have known about it, but everything else might have been getting really bad. And so they had to move on. Anyway, so he does call Brian back, and Brian gives him the code to Anna's garage, which is what we have. It's underneath the house. And so Will Fasto goes over to the garage, puts the code in, goes into the garage, sees that her car's not there, can't get into the house because the interior door is locked. But they are communicating back and forth about all this, right? So anyway, that was the biggest part.
Garage. It's garage.
Garage. We call it a garage, but that's fine.
Of course you do.
We're going to the garage. So that was Fasto. It was interesting. It wasn't as like spicy as I expected it to be, but whatever. And then, like I said, a bunch of witnesses that were just like the bar method instructor and the nail salon patron. And I'm like, the prosecution is boring. They're just boring everybody.
I'm sure, but I still love it. I love the minutia stuff. I mean, I'm sure the witnesses themselves were really boring and the questions they're asked were boring, but I love that they brought in the bar class instructor. As a concept, I enjoy that they brought in these lifestyle witnesses.
Well, they then brought on, ready for this? Here's a throwback, Troopa Conakeefe, who is now been upgraded to a digital forensic specialist.
Good for him.
Of which he is not, let me just tell you. So he was responsible. So basically, he was responsible for mapping phone locations for 2 of the iPhones. So there's an iPhone mini and then there's the little boy's iPhone. So for 2 iPhones attributed to Brian's use, this is where the defense really starts poking holes in Connor's testimony, which went through most of the day today as well. So we're getting into day 5 now. So basically they recessed, like 4 or 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I guess, last night, with Connor Keefe. He came back this morning. It was a half day today. It was a half day of court. So we went from like 9:30 to 1. There was some really interesting...
for everybody. That's what Judge Cannone used to say. That's how she pronounced half.
Half day.
Bye. Off.
Half day. Half day. So he's back on the stand. This poor guy. I'm trying to... It was just above the level of Tommy Paul.
I knew you were going to say Tommy Paul.
Tommy Boy. It was just above the level of Troopa Paul.
I can't remember now. Was that his fake name that we made up for him or his real name?
I can't think of him as anything other than Tommy Paul.
And
in my brain, all I can see is Tommy Boy going, fat guy in a little coat.
All right, we're just going. And every time we say Tommy Paul, because that's not his name, you have to just remind people that you're not stupid. And it's like Douglas Paul. I know it's not Douglas Paul either. I don't think it's Tommy Paul, but Tommy Paul is the right name.
Yeah. but
It
it's
sounds like
Troopa
an
Paul.
off-brand, like when you go into Kohl's and they have, or like Marshalls, and they have like the 1820. They have like their brands that are actually just
Hmm.
off-brands, like
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Olivia
you go to
and Mo or
Walgreens and
whatever.
you get like you get the nasal decongestant, but it's really Sudafed. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Tommy Paul is like a knockoff of Tommy Hilfiger. Like shitty Tommy Paul with like a crest on it, or
Yeah.
like a horse. It isn't really a
Yeah.
horse. Yeah. Anyway, go
I think
ahead.
he's actually he's a knockoff of Tommy Boy because
Okay.
he doesn't look like Tommy Boy, but that's what I hear. That's
All
what I
right,
see in my
Tommy
head.
Paul. So he was just
And
above Tommy Paul in terms of competence as a
he
winner.
was. And for some reason in my brain, all I can hear right now, and this has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but all I can hear is, I'm Diane Rehm.
Oh, sorry. It's my fault.
I'm Diane Rehm.
That's very
Anyway,
good.
thank you.
Dude,
Trooper
she
Connor
did a
Keefe.
whole 1 hour interview once with Barry fucking Manilow. I heard it when I was
Oh my
repainting my
God.
house in 2013. I will never fucking forget it. Barry Manilow, who she called one of the greatest musicians in American history.
That would
And then she literally said during the interview, the problem with music today is there's no melody. Swear to fucking God.
Okay,
Swear to
for
God.
all of you young folks out there who don't know who the fuck we're talking about, Diane Rehm was this older woman who had a show on NPR. Apparently, she was an asshole. I liked her
She had
show most of the
paralysis of
time.
the vocal cords. So her
Yes,
voice
she had.
was,
So
yeah.
her voice was very, and she would start every show by saying, "I'm Diane Rehm." Um, So anyway, that's what we're talking about. And now we are off on 17 different tangents, but we are on day 5 of the Brian Walshe trial, and Connor
Yeah.
Keefe is still on the stand, and he is just a step above Tommy Paul. And okay,
Go
we're
ahead.
ridiculous.
It's fine. Keep
All
going.
right. Okay, so the he's being cross-examined, and this was monotonous, but so beneficial and so wonderful. This cross-examination from Tipton. He broke down. So basically, what the only thing he was trying to establish today, this is
Tipton
what
is the defense attorney.
yeah, Tipton is
Okay.
Brian Walsh's like lead-ish attorney. Although I will say the woman who's defending him as well, they're public defenders as far as I understand it. Tipton's one of the best public defenders in Massachusetts. The woman, and I can't think of her name right now, she's really great too. She's a ginger, and she's also very like, she actually sounds like Scapiccio. So when I first was just listening, I thought Scapiccio was defending Brian Walshe because they sound so much alike, but it's not. It's not.
Wasn't she? And then she had to drop out because of money. Wasn't that her? Was she the original defense
Oh,
attorney?
I don't know. I don't know. That's something to look
I'm
up.
not even going to tell you to cut this. I'm just going to say I'm speculating that I think I have a weird memory of that. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay, I'll look it up and we'll do a follow up on it. So here's the most important part about the cross examination of Connor Keefe. Tipton was poking holes because again they are just cherry picking. So he would bring up something like this is a really big example, and this is what is making me start to think that they might be telling the truth. I don't know. If I were on the jury, I would think possibly. He was making the point that
Sorry.
he's making the point that they would look at these searches, right? So he looked up Mazza building and not Mazda, but Mazza building, Mazza building in DC. Mazza building is one of the properties that Anna was a property manager of for Tishman Spear. And the prosecution was trying to say he was basically stalking her and trying to figure out what she was doing. That actually isn't the case at all. Because of the timing of the searches, he was looking up Mazza building because I think a couple weeks prior to Christmas, the Mazza building in DC, all of the residents in the Mazza building had come down with Legionnaire's disease.
Oh, they all used the communal hot tub or some shit.
I think it was from the pool, like the communal pool.
Yeah.
She was the property manager on this. She didn't handle it well, she was fighting with the residents. There's audio, actually, if you go to the New York Post, but they have audio of her speaking with the residents and trying to clean all of this up. And she's doing an awful job. Like somebody put out flyers all around the neighborhood that said, hey, Legionnaire's disease happened here. If you have these symptoms, blah, blah, blah. And she had one of her people go out and take all of those flyers down. And so here's what they're laying the foundation of. Connor Keefe, as far as we know, and Michael Proctor, which he was invoked today, and Guarino, nobody looked into this further. They only looked up that he was searching out the Mazda building. So in cross-examination, Tipton said, well, do you know about what happened with the Legionnaire's disease at the Mazda building? And Connor Keefe's face was in the abada. It was like it was Tommy Paul all over
again.
He
was like,
just
physics.
like,
it's just physics.
It was like this. And he was like, I don't know what are you talking about? Is that a question? Like that whole, I don't recall what I gotta, like, he was like going through his Rolodex trying to figure out like the right thing to say. And
you should have done the Jen
well,
McCabe. Can you be more specific?
Yeah, he did that a few times. But so then Tipton goes on to say, oh, well, there was a Legionnaire's outbreak just a couple of weeks before Anna came home for Christmas. Do you know what he's trying to do?
What?
In that moment?
What?
He's trying to say, A, you didn't do your job thoroughly. You didn't do a full investigation. And B, he is laying the groundwork for Anna being sick. Because one of the things that happens to people with Legionnaire's disease is you have sudden death.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are you sure that he's laying that groundwork, or you're speculating that he's laying that groundwork?
I'm speculating. You're right. I'm speculating. But if he were smart, that's what, if I were doing it, that's what I would do. Because think about it. If one of the side effects is that it can stay dormant or something like that, and then you just die in your sleep. And what if his experts are going to testify? He's saying he's bringing in experts to testify to this. So
interesting.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It made me think twice. Another thing that, another way that he broke this apart, he unfortunately had to take Connor Keefe through every single, he would say, okay, at record 47, 11:42 a.m., someone using Brian Walshe's phone said hello. And then on record 48 at 11:20, blah, 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 or 11:50 something a.m., someone using Anna Walsh's phone said hi. And he had to do that all day in order to get to these searches that Brian was doing, because Brian did a search. And this is one of the things they use. And he's right about this. They are trying to manipulate the jury by cherry picking these searches, because one of the searches Brian did, which was right around the 30th or the 31st, which is when she died, he searched nightshade,
which is poisonous.
Yes, nightshade something, and I can't remember what the rest of it was. It's a restaurant, and it's a restaurant in Marblehead, and he had a reservation. He called and made a reservation, and so Tipton was like, "So did you guys call the restaurant?" And he was like, "No, no, I didn't. I didn't. Maybe Michael Proctor did. I didn't." And he was like, "So you didn't check to see if they had a reservation?" They just included it in all the bad searches.
Yeah.
As like he's looking up nightshade. No, he fucking wasn't.
Yeah.
This
is Goofus and Gallant shit. It's you're calling it jury manipulation, but it's actually just pointing to their confirmation bias. And it's like,
yes,
it is very easy for me to imagine being a cop and looking at this case and being like, oh, he fucking did it. But you still have to investigate. Yes. You still have to do that. Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, there are so many things that I'm picking out a couple of examples, but I wouldn't suggest going back and watching the testimony unless you put it on like triple the speed, because it really is monotonous. But I think that he really poked some holes today. And there was one other thing. What was it? Oh, yeah. That was a good one. He goes, Trooper Keefe, do you know what probable cause is? And he was like, yeah, I know what probable cause is. And he was like, it's like if you have the evidence, like you can search things. He fumbled so bad over the definition of probable cause. I was just like, ooh, due process next.
Yes.
Oh
my God.
But it was just like,
That's basic cop shit. Probable cause.
No shit.
I have probable cause to search your car because I smell alcohol coming out of it. I have probable cause to go into your house without a warrant because I see some dead feet lying on the floor.
The interesting thing about that line of questioning was he was making the point, you guys had probable cause to look at more and you chose not to.
Oh, great. I like that.
You had probable cause to look at other things and you chose not to.
I like that.
I do too. There was also an interesting part, and I don't know what happened. This was one of the few sidebars that Diane Freneau did, and I think
your girlfriend.
I can't remember. Yeah, my girlfriend. I can't remember if she called for it or what happened, but there was this moment that felt like it was about to be really explosive where Tipton was asking Connor Keefe to read off of the packet of either text messages or calls or whatever it was. And he goes, "So do you have a 3-hour phone call at 7 blah 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 on this date?" And Connor was sat there and he went through everything and he's like, "No. Am I looking at the wrong page?" And Tipton goes, "Nope, I think now would be a good time for a sidebar." So what I'm gathering, and it hasn't come out in court yet because this happened 2 or 3 times, is that within the cherry picking of all these searches and phone calls and texts, Tipton has a different record than the Commonwealth has.
Tipton probably has his actual, they have the extraction. He probably
Yes.
has the bill or something,
Yes.
the phone detail that
Yes.
shows that. And then they
Well, from what I hear,
manipulated
they
the
actually,
extraction.
yeah, I think they actually hired an expert to do an extraction for them. They asked the court for money to do that.
Okay, so they could extract the phone themselves. I wish they had done that in the Reed case, man. But it
Yeah.
was too
But
late. It was too late. The
but
phones were all gone.
But what does it mean, except for Karen's, what does it mean when the defense has a 3-hour call that is missing in the Commonwealth's records?
Well, in a normal courtroom, that is a prosecutorial misconduct situation,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that could be grounds for mistrial.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened at sidebar, but it felt like a moment where because Connor Keefe wasn't doing anything wrong necessarily in the moment, but somebody manipulated those records. And he proved it while Connor Keefe was sitting on the stand. The problem is, I don't know if the jury caught that. I hope they did, but I don't know if they caught it. Because if a witness is like, "I'm not seeing what you're seeing," you and I sort of understand that because we watch these trials all the time. But a layperson, are they just like, "Oh, does that mean that," like, they don't understand the rules of discovery necessarily. They don't understand the rules of, you know, like,
But
what am I trying to say?
they will they will if well, this would be decided in a hearing that is out of the presence of the jury. The
Right.
jury is never present for a mistrial. That is not a thing. Like, they have a
No.
hearing, judge declares it, unless it's like what happened in the Alec Baldwin case, which was
Yeah. That was
bananas.
amazing.
I so wish we were making this show when that case was
I
happening,
know. Me
because I
too.
wasn't following it very closely until like near
The
the
prosecutor
end.
took the stand.
And they put the prosecutor on the stand and
Oh,
proved that she had done
oh.
misconduct, and the judge immediately dismissed the case with prejudice.
Immediately in the moment. And Alec Baldwin just broke down in tears. I was just like,
And I
holy
think he's
shit,
a
this is
piece of
insane.
shit. I don't think he
I do
shot that, and
too.
I don't think he's responsible for that gun thing, but I do think
No, not at all. Anyway, Connor Keefe got off the stand after that. But I do think, even though it was monotonous, I think that the defense really poked holes in a lot of different areas. They poked holes in the premeditation, which we didn't really get into, but he was showing, like, they were having conversations the day before she came home. They had dinner reservations for I think it was January or December 30th. She was going to bar classes. They were texting back and forth about properties they were about to buy and a Porsche they were about to buy the day before she died. Um and then it was kind of technical, but they were able to parse out a little bit the researching that he was doing. And they sprinkled in the reasonable doubt about the fact that his mom is the one who actually bought those cell phones and was on the contract,
Mhm.
saying, "Well, do you know if anybody else had access to the phones like his mom who owned the phones?" Womp womp. So even those little things, I mean, I know that's something tiny and that the jury's probably like, "Yeah, no way. They're his phone, it's her phone." But it's enough. It's like there's reasonable doubt there.
I'm going to say it again. If this
Mhm.
goes to the jury, I
Mhm.
think he's going to be convicted. But what you are describing in terms of the
Yes.
phone record stuff,
Yes.
in Canoni's courtroom, that wouldn't matter.
No.
And they would just be like, "We made a mistake." And she'd be like, "See, they just made a mistake." In
Yeah.
this courtroom, that would matter a lot.
Yeah.
This judge is smart
She
and
is
doesn't seem to
hot.
like any nonsense. Gray rack.
Great rat. Oh,
um,
actually, I have something to say about the judge. She actually displayed how like level-headed and deliberative she is in the beginning. I think it was in a pre-jury moment. It might have been before after a break, or it might have been right at the beginning of the day. She talked to the lawyers about sentencing, and she talked about the sentencing guidelines because she's already starting to think about this. And basically the sentencing guidelines as she's understanding it are laid out in a way that this is a capital it's a it, it's a capital charge. So it's a capital case basically. But because and he has already admitted to lying to the police. So there's a difference in the sentencing guidelines. She can sentence him to up to 10 years if if the jury doesn't find him guilty of first degree, but maybe of a lesser included, she could sentence him up to 10 years for lying to the cops. But if the jury finds him guilty of murder one, she can go up to 20. Mm-hmm. And she basically was like, listen, I know you want an answer on this, but I can't give you an answer until the jury tells me what they think.
Right.
So she literally is like, I have to wait for the jury to make a decision, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm going to be deliberative about it, but that's the way it is. And I just thought it was like, I don't know. Maybe I have a crush on her because she is so much better than Bev.
That confidence. Confidence is sexy.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it is. So that was pretty much the end of the day. Like I said, it was a half day, and we're coming back on Monday as far as I know. I don't know what's coming next. The thing is, this trial is supposed to go for 3 to 5 weeks. So I feel like we're just getting started. And I think I would be willing to make that bet with you right now.
Okay. And if it goes to the jury, I think they'll find him guilty of first-degree murder.
I don't think they're going to. What should we bet?
Let's bet. That's conceivable that we'll see each other at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A coffee?
No. Coffee, please.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Dinner, at least.
Oh, dinner. Yeah, for sure. Dinner.
Yeah. Porsche.
Okay.
No, dinner.
I'll take your Canada Goose. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Although I think my shoulders are a little bit more broad than yours.
Maybe. It is. I have it here. It's warm as hell. I mean, it's like
I know, they're
I'm
so
so
nice.
glad I brought it. It was definitely needed yesterday. It was needed today when I had to run to CVS to buy rubber bands.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
No. We have a booth here at the conference I'm at, and like we were giving away posters, and there was no way to like we're just handing them to people, and they were like, "Can I roll?" So I was like, "Hey, don't fucking buy some rubber bands." So I had to go to CVS.
I got to get rubber bands. Yeah. So that's it with the Brian Walshe trial. I mean, we'll come back on Monday. There's so much going on. I don't know. My head is spinning right now. And you know what's crazy? Almost everything we're covering is in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on there?
Well, as I met some ladies today, so I'm at a conference for civics educators, which it's related to my day job, obviously. But I met some ladies today. I was doing the rounds and trying to network with some booth people that had physical places attached to their organization. So I talked to the Gettysburg people, and I talked to, so one of the people I talked to was the Massachusetts Historical Society. And I'm only interested in them because like Massachusetts, like, the birth of our nation. And so
the Redcoats are coming.
Yeah. We're talking, and I'm talking, these ladies are like so polite and so nice. And I just heard myself say, well, we'd be interested in doing something with you, maybe recording a podcast there, because, all the shit went down in Massachusetts. And lady was like, yes, all of the shit went down in Massachusetts.
Amazing. How old was she? How old do you think she was?
Probably in her 60s. And I was like, yes, and continues to.
Yes. Yeah. We could do, years on cases that have happened in Massachusetts.
Well, there's 19 of them that are going to be tainted to Proctor. So
we got 19 cases.
This is the thing. It sounds like they're starting to get to it. They didn't address it in the opening arguments, because I listened to the opening arguments. They did not address the police misconduct as relates to other things.
Nope.
But if they are building to that and they're able to say, you saw for yourself that the police manipulated a phone record, didn't investigate what nightshade was. And if they have like 100 of these examples, that's much better than having 2.
Let me tell you that part of the reason why I'm betting on either mistrial, like a hung jury, or not guilty, or I'm saying I don't think they're going to convict him of murder one.
Okay, I understand.
What I'm saying.
And I think if it goes to the jury at all, I think they're going to convict him of murder one.
The reason I'm saying that right now is because after I saw what I saw today, when they put Proctor on the stand, I think that's going to be the
To me, the
end of it.
most damning thing is the trip to Lowe's.
No, here's the thing. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I believe this man dismembered this woman and discarded her body. I don't know for sure at this point in time if he murdered her.
Right.
With premeditation.
So there's reasonable doubt there's a bar for that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you could reasonably believe X, I could imagine in the jury room, even as a bunch more damning stuff about cops being like, these cops are fucking buffoons. They didn't do it right. But the dude went to Lowe's.
Yeah.
Like he bought a murder kit.
$400.
He bought a murder
So this
kit
cybersecurity expert researched on YouTube how to, dismember his wife after he went to Lowe's and bought a Tyvek suit. And he thought he was being clever because he was wearing a face mask.
And it's funny because I know I've told the story in the podcast before, so I won't get into the length of it, but like a crime was committed against people that I work with where these thugs threw bricks through their windows, and they were arrested for the FBI because it was an interstate crime, and it was also a crime against First Amendment. It was a civil rights case. And the dudes, one of the dudes literally, I think they two of them, went to Lowe's and bought one brick.
Did they wrap the receipt? Did they wrap the receipt around it?
They were able to subpoena Google, and they got the Google searches where the dude like looked up the addresses of my colleagues and their parents, because it's also her parents' house. And then the dude, and they had in the indictment is incredible. And it's like, and then on this date, according to video surveillance and receipts, he bought one brick.
Just one.
And I was like,
one brick wonder.
You can find a brick so many other places than going to Lowe's and buying a brick. You can walk through a public park or somebody's lawn. There's like a little pile of, like bricks, like just randomly.
Yeah.
Buying one brick. Like, what is like with the cashier? Like, is this so that you can bring it home and see if it's the right color? Like, what are you doing?
I know. What do you do with one brick? What do you do with one brick?
Doorstop. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I guess that could be.
No. Yep. You don't have to move a brick.
No, you want to put it in like the knitted cat that your grandmother made you. What are those things called?
Oh yeah. The brick cozy or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, we love you guys, and thanks for listening to us go off on a Friday night tangent heavy episode.
And if you see a woman with fucking toilet paper sticking out of her pants, I don't care if you're a man.
Say something. If you see something, say something.
And thank you for your tips. Mel has been, because I'm telling her now to, she's been generously sprinkling this episode with our Venmo handle. That Mel works so hard on this show. She does all the editing. This is many, many hours, even though we have a good time. It is many hours of labor that we're not getting paid for because we don't have a ads or a deal or anything. And so your tips, if you like what we do, are very appreciated.
Yes, thank you very much.
I made the pitch so you didn't have to.
I appreciate that. I have a really hard time with it. I'm going to be honest with you. I hate asking people for money. I hate even being like, if you like me, pay me. I hate it. I can't. I have a really hard time with it. So I appreciate that you come from public radio and you are used to doing this. But yeah, we're not getting paid for this show. So you guys are paying us. And if you like us, pay us. And I appreciate it.
And if you don't, just watch anyway. And leave a comment. And maybe we'll read your comment on the show.
Here's the thing. There are a lot of people who can't afford to pay for things like this. If you can just share it with your friends and your family, or and subscribe,
put it on Reddit,
and like and
under
comment,
like the Karen Reed subreddit, the Justice for Karen Reed stuff. Share it like with your social media community. That'd be great.
I mean, as far as I'm understanding YouTube, every time we get comments, likes, subscriptions, it makes us go up in the algorithm.
Engagement,
and then we get seen a little bit more. So I completely understand not being able to even drop a fiber. I get it.
I don't.
So if
yes.
I'm talking about personally myself. Like, I can't afford to pay for all the things that I love. I can relate to.
I'm joking.
Okay.
That being said, I see people paying other YouTubers to be able to ask a dopey question on their feed, and the question isn't even a good one. It's just like yo, I really support you, love you, and it's like.
Anybody who sends in a tip from this episode, please put yo in the subject line.
And if you put good comments below, we would like to read them on the show. So.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, everybody, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to hopefully try to get this out tonight. If I can't get it out tonight.
You don't have to say that because they don't know about time.
Listen. I like deadlines.
Okay.
And it's good for me. And I get excited when I put these episodes out. I am sending you a virtual hug, even though you're about 20 minutes away from me and we
I
can't see
know.
each other.
Sorry, we
This
can't
is
see
so
each
weird.
other. I have
I
dinner with,
know.
speaking of asking for money, I'm about to have dinner with some people that I'm hoping to ask for a lot of money. So
Asking
not for me.
that money, girl.
Not for me. For
Asking
for the
that
project
money.
I work on at work.
If you wear the shade of lipstick that Diane Frenier wears, you might get a little bit of moolah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks.